I have a confession.
Oh my God, tell me everything.
So Alex and I were talking today about how we schedule these, and she knows what I'm about to say.
I already know. I'm putting my microphone down.
And we're supposed to record these at a certain time, but what happens is one of us texts the other one and is like, hey, I need 15 more minutes, or can you do it at this time instead? And we're like besties, so we get it. And so she's like, I'm sorry that I'm always late. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, girl, you text me when you're late, and I'm going to confess something to you. I'm always wet and naked. And I just let you throw yourself under the bus.
You know, I do have to say, this is like the best type of friend is someone who like you say, oh, I'll see you at noon. And they're like, and then we both know like it's not going to be noon. It's never going to be noon ever.
No. So today she was like, I'm going to be on time. And I was like, it's fine. And so then I totally texted her pictures of me being like, look, this is where I am. I'm super like just getting out of the shower and I'm super not ready yet.
I was like, oh, sweet. I get 10 minutes. This is great. This is great.
Because we all know as estheticians, like if the worst thing is when a client shows up early and we're like, this is terrible. I'm supposed to be doing other things right now, like peeing or resting or shoving food in my face, or I don't know, taking off my bra. I don't know what you guys do with your time off, but I've done all of those things, taking a nap.
You should not be here now. It is not your time.
No, please, God, please, may people never show up more than 5 minutes early.
Although, like, I just got a text here. I had an appointment, and they said, oh, you can come early if you want. And I'm like, no, I can't. I'm not prepared for that. I can't make that kind of fast adjustment. I'm not just like sitting around ready for an appointment ever.
No, or like when somebody comes in and they come in early, they're like, oh, do you mind if I just sit here? And you don't worry about me. And you're like, but you're up in my space and I can't do anything right now.
You're watching me.
Yes, I can't. That's like coming to my house and just hanging out.
You're watching me. Oh, yeah.
People don't understand.
Everyone. I mean, if you're like chronically on time, just know that like we're not late because we disrespect you or we don't respect your time. It's usually because we're terrible at managing our own time. And it's always like, oh, just one more thing, right? This morning, did you say to yourself, just one more thing?
Right. I'm just going to squeeze that one last thing in because that time crunch is like when it gets like, that's when you like are in that magic 5 minutes.
Super productive.
Yeah. That magic 5 minutes where I got to get it done. I actually used to be chronically on time. Like I was always on time. And then I moved to LA where everybody's 15 minutes late, which is what I call LA on time. And now
true.
I'm having to try to break myself of the habit because here in Vegas, everybody's like 5 minutes early.
Oh dear.
And I'm like, oh my God, I'm running late. And they're like, what? And I'm like, oh God, this is terrible. I'm LA on time.
You just leave 30 minutes earlier and you should be fine.
It's because there's no traffic here. So
right. You have no excuse.
There's zero excuses. So we'll see. All right, guys, let's get on with the show. Speaking of late, we've had a good intro today. Hello, I'm Sybil Solon. I'm an esthetician and spa owner.
And hi, I'm Alex Ellis. I'm a body nerd and wellness expert, and we are business besties.
And bosses, running your own business, it's hard.
But we are terrible employees, so we're figuring it out.
I've already figured it all out. But we promise to share everything we know about what it takes to make six figures and beyond.
And be brutally honest about what works and what totally sucks.
A bunch of it totally sucks. Let's get started.
Ain't that the truth? I mean, seriously, every time, and I say this every time, when you say like, but it totally sucks, I'm like, my God, yeah, it does. It really does. But you know what? We still do it because we love it. So welcome back to Skinfessional. On today's show, we're talking about to mask or not to mask and how we are adapting to the new CDC guidelines.
And talking to your clients about vaccinations and your safety. Yeah.
So we hopped on today, and you're like, let's talk about masks. I'm like, wait, what? Huh? And I don't know if you're the same way. Like, you know, they say, oh, you don't really have to wear a mask anymore. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I feel like, could it be for a year? I was afraid that I was going to die without a mask on, and now I can just like take it off. And so I'm still walking around with it around my chin because I'm like, I don't know. Anything other than this doesn't feel safe.
it's like soon, too soon. Not, it's, but I also think it's depending on state. Like we talked about Texas, they've been like, oh, we didn't even wear that mask, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's really difficult to just be like, hi, so the trauma of like being afraid of air that you've had for the last year, like, oh, guess what? It doesn't matter anymore. You can just like forget it ever happened. And I can't just forget it happened. Can't do it.
I know. Well, and one of the things that I talk to people, so how this happened is I have had a few estheticians, when I say a few, I'm going to say at least 15, drop me text messages, IMs, DMs, whatever, been on the horn with me and been like, so, how are you doing with masks? Like, what are you doing with your mask? Like, how do you feel about that? Which, AKA means like, so how should I feel about this? What should I do? Right?
Yeah. What do I do?
Right. What should I do? Because, it's coming to a point where, they're feeling uncomfortable taking off their masks, but they don't know what to tell their clients because their clients are like, oh, you don't need a mask with me. It's fine. And they're like, I want my blankie.
Mm-hmm,
I want my face blankie.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, it's also been a question of vaccinations because a lot of people ask me if, was I seeing clients who weren't vaccinated? And, it's really a personal choice for all of these things. And that's what it really comes down to. It's a personal choice for you in your business. But we've talked about this before. You need to have strict guidelines and you need to talk about those guidelines to people.
Yeah. Well, because the other thing too is like, I literally have never gotten a flu shot ever in my entire life. The one time I did was when I was working in a hospital during swine flu, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was part of the guidelines. So I was like, cool, whatever, I'll just get a shot. Like that was literally the first one I ever had, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I also now, having experienced the collective trauma of the last year, just a little spritz there.
I was getting really dry.
After this last year, like, I feel like everything kind of changed because it was such a, like, I keep using this word trauma because whether you realize it or not, we all experience collective trauma. Having your business forcibly shut down is traumatic. Watching family members die is traumatic. Like watching in just the news, which is why I don't watch it anymore, is traumatic. And so like I'm not ready. I guess I'm not ready to not be masked up. I'm not ready.
Right. And that is perfectly fine. And, I have a friend who literally keeps saying, she goes, I can't wait till I get to take this off. I can't wait till I can walk around and everything's normal again. And for me, I have been a person who's been very like, I don't really want to wear this mask I don't care about. I think that you should not have to wear your mask outside. Like it's all about science for me. Like there are places that you should wear a mask when you go indoors. I'm all about that. But like science, like we don't need to be wearing a mask when we're walking out freaking side, in my opinion. Like there's
in my neighborhood by myself with my dog? What?
Right. When like LA is like, you should be wearing a mask. Speaking of trauma, people yelling at you and judging you and like coming up and like, people beating people because they're not wearing masks. These are choices, that has become very political.
Yeah.
So because of all this, you have all this trauma, there's this fear, there's this anger and anxiety, and it has to do with like this piece of cloth that you're putting on your face.
Right. And what it means to have it or not to have it.
Right.
Yeah.
And understand that like doctors wear these all the time. I've worn a mask in my treatment room and I have super cute ones. I have ones with like Disney characters and stuff on them.
You had an N95 before I even knew what an N95 was.
I super did. So like when all this came out, I'm like, oh, I'll get my N95 out. Okay. Because if people are sick and they come into my studio, I wear a mask, just like I wear gloves for every single treatment because I don't like to touch people. Y'all are gross. I don't know where you have been, and it's just safe. It's just safer. So these are choices that you make, and you tell people and you talk to them about it. But there's a hard conversation. So it's learning how to have these conversations and do it in a way where you're not like, bitch, I'm not seeing you because you're not wearing a mask. Get the fuck out of my studio.
Yeah.
Right? And understand that you're
emotional about it.
Right. You're getting emotional and you're being triggered because you have, as Alex said, this trauma.
Yeah.
Right. And the other person has that trauma too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bumping against each other.
I mean, I think even the I was telling you, I unfollowed someone on social media this morning because they were like, it also to me was like very problematic on so many layers, but they were like, oh, I just realized that like I've always identified as vaccinated, and so I'm not going to wear a mask anymore. And I was like, I mean, you don't have to be an asshole about this, but like, okay, cool, I can easily unfollow.
Right.
But I think like ultimately at the end of the day, it's what are you comfortable with? And also
Yes.
like what amount of risk are you willing to take? There was someone else who I follow on social media who's like, hey, look, because of the people that we are exposed to and like grandparents and childcare as a dual household family with kids because the parents are divorced, I can't afford to have my kid have COVID. He's not getting vaccinated. And so we're still masking. And here's why. And like, that's our boundary. If you're not willing to wear a mask, no problem. We're not going to be playing with you this summer because we literally cannot afford to lose the
Right.
time that exposure would bring about. And so I think that's like a really good example of what is my risk? Who am I being exposed to? And like, is it really worth it to me? And so
Right.
I think for everyone, like, that's important. Like I'm around people who are all vaccinated, but also who have compromised immune systems. I'm not about to like go to a rave, like that's not high on my list of things to do. It isn't yet. So it's such a personal decision.
So let's talk about, so Alex brings up a really good point. So I have looked at this as a way, as the same thing, the same kind of conversations you have about anything that's uncomfortable in your business.
Yeah.
So let's think about this as if you were like raising prices. Okay. Something that's uncomfortable, or you were getting rid of a client. Okay. Something that's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that people keep doing with when they're making the decisions, and this is something I'm seeing, because right now I'm seeing people come out and they're like, hi, this is our policy and this is why we have the policy, right? I truly believe that you should tell people your policy. This is our policy. We would like everyone to be vaccinated. If you're not, and if you're not, you can go down the street, whatever, right? Your policy. We do this because of these reasons. I truly believe that people should not give any kind of excuses. So
good luck with that one.
as soon as you give an excuse for something, you open room for argument. Right. So one of the things that you do when you're raising prices, or you're having a discussion that's uncomfortable in a business, is it's just so. This is just how it is. This is policy.
This is how it is. Yeah.
This is just policy. And what's happening because of this is like this new thing and it's uncomfortable and it's so close to us, is that we're forgetting that this is just policy. So when you say, yeah, so our new policy is that we require you to have vaccination and we're requiring that you wear a mask when you come in, and that I'll be continuing to wear a mask. How does that sound?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Question about that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you really need, if you decide that you want to wear a mask, do you really need to explain that to your clients?
Well, what happens is that people are going to ask you. People ask. That's the problem. People are like, oh, are you still wearing a mask? And you can be like, yes, I am.
Right. I mean, that's a response. Yeah.
Right. So you can say, yes, I am.
Period. Full stop. That's a sentence.
Right. And they'll be like, well, why? And you're like, it's policy. Well, don't you make the policy? Yes.
Or it's just, I feel more comfortable like this, period.
Right. Well, the problem is you start getting into conversation about it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just like, this is the policy.
Well, I guess this is even more interesting question. What are you doing?
Yeah. So I personally am still wearing a mask in my treatment room if a person is not vaccinated. So if a person is not vaccinated, I wear my mask.
And where do you ask them the vaccination question?
When they come in, I'm like, have you been? So literally we stand far apart because now everybody's used to standing far apart, right? We've all trained ourselves to stand far apart. And I actually do it like this. I say, I've been fully vaccinated. Have you been vaccinated?
And are you masked up at this time? Or
yes, I'm fully masked. They are masked.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, are you fully vaccinated? And if they say yes, I'm like, I feel comfortable taking off my mask. If you feel comfortable with me taking off my mask, I'm okay with that. Let me know how you feel. Because that's the other thing. I want to make sure that they're okay with me taking off my mask. It's not actually my choice in that treatment room. it's their choice, in my
Okay.
opinion.
I have some thoughts about this. As someone who's a people pleaser and who would say, yes, go ahead, even if I'm not actually comfortable, which granted is that's on me. I acknowledge that.
Yeah.
I wonder if it would be, since I know your clients currently are booking ahead of time, that if you just like added an extra questionnaire,
Like in a survey, because I sent out a survey.
Yeah, like, are you
Okay.
vaccinated? Yes or no? Do you want me to remain masked during our session?
That is a great add-on, Alex. I will make sure I add that to my survey, because I do have a survey that's going out to every single client before their treatment right now, and I'll just add that on. Look at Alex helping me out.
Well, only because I 100% could see myself in that situation. I would almost feel like, oh my God, you surprised me with this. And like, I hadn't really thought about it. And I don't really know. And I'm going to say yes, because I don't want to like rock the boat. And obviously if you're asking me, it's because you want to take it off. And then the whole time I'm going to be worried about it. And then after it, I'm going to be stressed out about it. Like, this is my brain. So I think when you're able to ask that question ahead of time, it gives you
time to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's a great idea. So yeah. And I do make sure, if for some reason everyone does not feel like have that system set up in place to ask those questions, make sure that you do ask in the way where it's not, notice that I did not ask, I'm going to take off my mask, or I want to take off my mask. I say, I'm comfortable taking off my mask. You let me know if you're comfortable taking off, if you're comfortable with me taking it off. Mm-hmm. That's it. Because
we gotta let it be their choice.
And you can always finish with, I'm fine either way.
Yeah. You know, something that you could do, which I think most systems are set up to at this point, like you could text your clients the day before they come in, so they have that 24-hour period to like think about it and be ready.
Absolutely, you could. And I know that many estheticians out there are like, who has time for that crap? I just don't. What?
I mean, yes, but also it's like
these are the important things customer care wise.
In the midst of a pandemic, y'all.
Yes.
You know?
I mean, there's a reason why I set up surveys. So guys, I set up a survey for incoming clients for these reasons. I wanted to make sure. Now, if they don't answer, which I mean, I'm probably getting 50% responses right now, which is very
still
sad.
really good. 50% is very good. And in the online marketing world, 50%, I would be like screaming from a rooftop, like, oh my God, 50%.
I know. But I mean, I'm always like, every single client should respond. They should want to tell me what they want in that treatment room. Right. But everyone know that you are, the reason why I set up these surveys is because, one, I want to know what they want done in the treatment room. Mm-hmm. And two, I really want to check in. I want closer check-ins with my clientele before I see them because of these things. I want to have those check-ins in place. And so it's very simple. It's an automated survey. It just goes out to people. And you guys, it was worth every penny to set it up. I did it on Survey Sparrow. Alex talked to me about a different one that everyone uses. What is the name of that one?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember. Oh,
okay. Lots of people use Survey
or something.
What is it?
Typeform, Survey
Typeform. That's the one. Typeform. Typeform. TYPE Typeform. Surveys. I use Survey Sparrow, and the only reason was because I was like, oh, this has automations that I understood how to use very easily. Mm-hmm. I used SurveyMonkey for years, but I found that recently their free plan was kind of gangster and I didn't like it as much. So I was like, what? I can only keep like 10 responses.
Oh, right.
I was like, forget that life.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I really like that idea of asking people ahead of time. I think also I would feel comfortable as the business owner assuming if they say, yeah, I'm cool with you being not masked, or no, I want you to be masked, that moving forward, that's just like, that'll be what I do with that client.
Right.
In yoga, I remember teaching in the studio as I started to become more trauma informed. So this might be a term one might want to Google because, and we were talking about this in yoga multiple years ago. I don't remember when it first came up, but you're dealing with people's bodies. I don't know the story of your whole body. There's no way you can ever know the story of your body. But if I come up and I just start touching you and adjusting you without knowing what injuries you have, maybe there is some history of abuse, and so you don't want to be touched. Like, I don't know all that. And I also can't expect you to tell me that when I, as a teacher, sit at the front of the room. Does anyone have any injuries I need to know about, or stuff like that? And so some studios started doing like a token system where you would have like a token or a card on your mat. And if you had it on your mat, it meant like, don't touch me. And if you did it, some system like that. So people could almost like anonymously compared to the other people, like let the teacher know what they want. And so I feel like this is like another way to do that as well. But anything you can do to like remove that confrontation, even though it's not meant to be a confrontation.
No, I totally get that. And that makes a lot of sense. That's also really good because I know as somebody who's been in a teaching situation where I was assisting somebody and like I went to move her arm and I did not know that she'd had a shoulder injury and I went to move her arm. She's like, oh God. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, nothing is more horrifying than when you find out that as a healer that you're hurting someone and that you're giving them additional trauma and pain.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You know, no one wants that. So like anything that we can do to, you know, lubricate the system, make it easier for people.
Yeah.
You know? And I forget sometimes because I'm a person who like, I speak my mind. I'm like, I don't want you fucking doing that to me.
Right.
I forget that there are people
pleaser. I can't help it. I just want to like not rock the boat and just like do what you want me to do. Obviously you want me to do it because you're asking me about it.
Well, usually actually, I mean, it doesn't either way. It doesn't matter to me. It's just many people actually do. You will find that many people do want you to take off their mask because they want a more normalcy. So people do often want you to take off your mask. They want more normalcy because they'll be like, oh, thank God. And then they also feel more comfortable because they feel that they can take off their mask. They can hear you better. A lot of my clients are older and they can't hear. They're like, I can't hear you through that. What? Right? They want to see your facial gestures. Like they've missed seeing you. So there are other reasons that they just miss being, you know, having no masks in that room. For me, I actually don't care either way. It really, really, honest to goodness, does not matter to me either way. I'm so used to working with it now, it doesn't bother me.
Do you feel like you're going to keep wearing a mask moving forward, or are you ready to like not wear a mask while working?
Yeah, once again, it doesn't matter to me either way. During like flu seasons and stuff, when it's sick time, I'll probably just wear my mask all the time.
Yeah, I feel like same for me that like there will be, you know, when I'm going to be out in big crowds that I'll just like might as well wear a mask. Also, like I'm going to an outdoor motor race event.
Yeah, so wear your mask.
Later this year, I'm going to be around a lot of people and I'm going to be outside. So wearing a mask to me is like awesome sun protection. Yeah. And I don't have to breathe other people's nasty air.
Well, and we were talking about the fact like travel. Now I travel all the time. And when I started wearing a mask for travel, I was like, how was I so stupid and not wearing one of these? Because now I don't smell banana farts. And also it's just so much nicer.
Hates bananas, you guys. She hates
bananas. Banana farts are the worst.
Is that just like the smell of a banana?
It's like if you've not sat on a plane where people have been farting and they clearly smell like bananas, then you've missed out because it happens all the time on planes. Oh my God. Like every single person was like, I got to get on a plane and I think all I can eat is a banana.
Well, the stress is making me gaseous. I have a confession, a mid-episode confession. Sometimes when I travel, I take a hard-boiled egg and I eat the whole thing in one bite because I know it's so smelly. And Anthony looked at me and he's just like, you're a monster. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. I needed protein and this was like the easiest thing to travel with.
Eggs aren't that bad. They're first of all, you can eat them in one bite. It's not a big deal. Right. And two, they're not that smelly. So if you want to eat it in smaller bites, it's going to be okay. It's not like you're eating like broccoli.
I've probably done that too.
What's raw? It's not a big deal. Things that you should and should not eat on a plane. Salmon.
Pretty sure I've done that too. I ate broccoli and salmon followed by a hard-boiled egg and a banana.
Like, I ate raw and then a banana. No, bananas are the worst thing to eat on planes. Literally, I've death stared people for eating banana on a plane. I'm just like,
I feel like you're the only. Someone settle this for us. Do you also hate bananas? Is Sybil the only person in the world who hates bananas? I gotta know because I don't know.
There's an entire phobia name for it. So there you go.
I believe you. There's a phobia for everything. Okay, so I want. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so speaking of planes,
yes.
Who else also will now forever be the person who brings their own cleaning supplies and also just cleans all of that plane down? Because
hell yes.
Because hell yeah, I will tell you straight up, I have shame for this story, but if you go through my feed somewhere deep in my IG feed, I actually have from like 4 or 5 years ago, and I'll try to find it. I have a video of some lady who comes in with a plastic bag and like 4 Lysol wipes, and she wipes down her plane like it was times of COVID, right? But this is like 4 years ago, and I remember just like videoing it and being like, this is a very intense cleansing structure that she's got going on here.
And now you're like reviewing it.
She had gloves that she ungloved. She like gloved and then gloved and then gloved again. She had like 3 layers of gloves that she cleaned, and I was like, this is some intense cleaning. And I was both in awe and messed up by it.
Well, yeah, you're like, obviously she knows something I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, is she afraid of getting lice? Like, what is happening on this plane? I was like, oh my God, this is some intensity. And now I was like, she was from the future. And she knew what was going to happen.
Future lady, thank you for the message.
Yes.
She really did.
So I've literally taken her every time I've gone on a plane, I've taken hers. I learned from her. It's like, this is how you do it. This is how you clean crazy planes.
This is how you do it. Okay, I want to ask you about vaccination and asking people about that, because I feel like you have to trust your clients.
You can't trust your clients. That's the problem.
Right. Yeah. So what do you do?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm going to be straight up, guys. I don't care if my clients are vaccinated. It's all about whether I want to wear a mask or not with our vaccinated. So I troll their social media. And if I've seen that
you have like 250 clients.
I have a lot of clients, but I troll their social media. So if I've seen that they're vaccinated, I put a little star in their chart and I'm like, okay, I know that person's vaccinated. If they are not, if I don't see that they're vaccinated, I'll ask to see their card. I'll be like, hi, can I see your vaccination card? Now, straight up, guys, know that those vaccination cards are super easy to forge.
Yeah.
So, you're going with God on that. I'm hoping that none of my clients have the time and are such like psychopaths that they are going to go get themselves a fake card.
Vaccine card.
Right. I mean, a lot of them work in the industry, which means they've had to be vaccinated because otherwise they can't work on sets and stuff. That helps. But yeah, if I haven't seen proof that they're vaccinated, I'm like, I just wear my mask.
Because do you even ask them that question, or are you just already?
No, I just don't even ask them if like I haven't seen proof that they're vaccinated. Well, like what'll happen is I'll ask them, hey, do you have proof that you're vaccinated? Can I please see it? And they'll just be like, I'm like, just bring it in with you. And they're like, okay, that's cool. I'm like, thanks. I just, it just really helps me feel more safe.
Which is so, like, this is the original point I meant to make when I was talking about vaccines before. Like, never have we ever had to, like, prove that we've gotten a vaccine or anything like that. It's just, like, it's such a weird and different time. And I think that there will be many times where we screw it up and we feel awkward after and, like, you stick your foot in your mouth, like, whatever. But it's, like, at least we're all in this boat together.
I think the key words for me is it helps me feel safe.
Yeah.
And once you say that to somebody, when you say like, I just need to see your, because some people are like, I'd really like to see your vaccination card. They're like, oh, of course. And they're super proud. They're like, yes, yes. Right. And if they're like, oh, and you're like, it just helps if they're in any way hesitant, you're just like, it just really helps me feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
And if it, once again, it's so much like a conversation you have with somebody who's going to be late on you constantly. And you're like, so I'm going to need you to prepay for that appointment. And they're like, if they're in any way hesitant, they're probably a liar.
Right.
Right. So you just know that you check them off in your little book and you're like, I'll wear a mask.
Which, okay, also, I just want to point out, you said, I don't have time to like do these other things, but I have time to troll spy on my clients on social media, all of them.
Well, I didn't say I didn't have time, but I know that other people, I know that other people are going to be like but how much time do you spend on your social?
No more than 90 minutes a day.
90 minutes a day, of which I am stalking my clients and paying attention to my clients and follow. So it's so easy. Like when almost every single person, when they got their vaccination,
posted it,
put it out there. And I was just like,
I didn't do it. I kept posting it. It's my story to tell. No, I didn't want to be like everybody
just
else.
About every single person. That's why I said, as soon as I saw it come on their social, I was like, oh, dude, they had vaccination.
Okay, speaking of social, when we were talking about today's episode and the CDC's announcements.
Yeah.
Why did we have to go to Twitter to find this announcement? Oh my God. So if you're ever anything, like, don't go to the news, go to Twitter.
I know.
Social media has the news.
Literally, I was like, is it fake news? Or is it fake? Because so Alex is like, so how, if you're not following the news very closely because there's too much trauma or whatever, we had a conversation where we're like, oh, okay, so the CDC announced that you can like stop wearing your mask and for
if you're vaccinated.
Yeah, hashtag things, right? And Alex is like, I want to go find the real memo, essentially, right? Because like,
Couldn't find it.
Yeah, shit gets lied and changed. Apparently, I'm so dry, guys, that I had to put on hand cream too.
I need to hear how dry it is.
And put on hand cream.
You need like a hydration tablet.
Skinfessional.
Let's get this girl some hydration.
Oh my God, it's super dry here today. So Alex is like, I'm on the CDC website and there's no information on this. And I'm like, is it
terrible
fake?
Website?
Yeah. And I'm like, is it fake news? And she's like, I don't know. There's a tweet. Is it just a tweet?
Yeah, it's just a tweet.
It's just a tweet. That's all you need.
Their website is disorganized, but their Twitter is on point.
That's because their Twitter is probably run by like a 13-year-old, and therefore it's all set up.
Probably. They probably have like a pop in TikTok too.
Oh my God. I now will have to go to the CDC TikTok and see what's on there. It's going to be a bunch of like old people or middle-aged people like me being all like,
got my shot.
And pointing to like text.
Oh. Okay, I just want to say about TikToks and Reels and stuff, like if you're still sitting on the fence about these for your business, get off the fence and just make them. It is so just like literally see what somebody else does and then make that for your industry. Yeah. So here's like, this is how easy it is, you guys. There's a sound that's super popular. So that's one of the things with Reels and TikToks. It could be a sound that's really popular. It's the, it's never too much. Never enough. Never. Have you heard this one?
No.
Okay, well, just wait. It's going to be on my account next week, and I'm going to die laughing. And then I saw people, it initiated as like a dog with like a sweater and all of its clothes saying like it's never enough like to have that many clothes. And then people would do it with like whatever thing that they were really into. So I saw one girl do it with all of her protein powder. She's like, when lifters say you don't need any more protein powder, and she literally has her arms full of protein powders. So I did it with therapy balls, and I did a bunch of cuts where it's like more balls, and it's never enough. So easy. 11 seconds. This shit, like, it's going to do well on my account. I'm just saying.
Right on.
So social media is the place to be. That's all I mean, say.
It truly is. It is the place to be.
The CDC is on social media. If the grandpa CDC is on social media, we need to be there and having these conversations.
I do love TikTok. I've been talking about TikTok for a while. I like TikTok. I love the talk. It's
okay.
It will take you 45 minutes to make one. So
that is also true. So with this conversation, you're sending out a survey to your clients, asking them ahead of time, are you vaccinated? Yes or no? Would you like me to continue wearing my mask? I don't care either way. What is your thoughts? Giving them time to answer, responding from there. What happens when you lose clients?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's like when any other time when you lose clients, they weren't your clients to have anymore. You know, I actually would be interested to see how many clients you do lose, because in theory, these clients are your clients. They're aligned with your way of thinking. They know who you are. They're your people. You might lose a few, but I bet you if you really look at it, if you've had these clients for, 5+ years, that these clients are people who are like-minded. Yeah. Right.
I think, I was just going to add, if you are authentically yourself and like always putting, taking a stand, not in an aggressive way, but like just being vocal about who you are and what you believe in, chances are your clients are the same. And so your mask, not mask, vaccine, not vaccine is probably going to be pretty aligned unless your persona of work is not like you at all.
Right. If it's fungible.
Wait,
fungible. What? I'm going to be like fungible. It's fungible. Or if you're a crazy people pleaser, so you're just like sitting there being like, hey, I mean, whatever you want, it's fine.
I just learned a new word, fungible. Yeah, no, it's very true. This is not a time, because also it's about being comfortable. Yeah. Not only for your clients, I think we spend a lot of time talking about customer care, but it's also for you. If you aren't comfortable in the treatment room with the person, like, come on, what's the point?
Right. And this is, I think this is going to be going on for a little bit, these kind of conversations. So one of my biggest concerns is the fact that although, let's say that it's not times of COVID, I've had these conversations about people coming in just regular sickness. What is your policy on sickness, guys? I'm straight up like, hey, if you're sick, I don't want to see you. Don't come in with your flu, your fever, your cold. I don't want to see you.
Which is also just crazy that we used to go places when we didn't feel great. right?
Which will probably happen again. And that's always
Yeah.
my biggest concern.
Yeah.
Right. Is that people are going to kind of fall back to these old habits. So, we take off the mask and suddenly we're like, we're back to normal and I don't need to wash my hands and I don't need to wipe down my stuff and everything's the same as it was and on your face,
Yeah.
and that's my biggest concern. Because one of the things that was very easy for me is I had all these habits in place that were keep things clean, keep things tidy, don't touch things, don't touch your face, don't touch people.
Which I have to admit, my hand washing is a way increased now and will remain that way than it was.
You don't wear shoes in your house now. Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, my parents still do. And I'm just like, oh, there's poop shoes in the house. But yeah, my own house, I don't. And it's great. But like, I have pets, right? This sweet little dog. She's carrying poop shoes in the house on her poop feet all the time.
I know. I understand. I have cats and they walk around in their poop. It's just
literally.
Right. But they're probably not going to give you COVID. So
that is very true.
Right. It's just how it is. But there are certain things that we just do that, make things cleaner. I was really sad when I went to Costco and they'd stopped wiping down all the pumps because the very first month of COVID, I was like, everything is so clean. Mm-hmm. This is so nice. And they're like, nah, we don't need to do that anymore. They said that you don't really get it from surfaces. We're good.
That's actually, I had wipes in my car. I should keep them to wipe off the gas.
Yeah.
Thing. Why not? Because then I get back in my car and I drive my hands are covered in poop because I feel like they are, because that's basically what happened.
Well, Neil started just keeping gloves. So he, not even just plastic gloves, because, he just keeps working gloves and he uses them for lots of different things. Because understand that, work gloves, material, nothing sticks on material as well as plastic and stuff. So, when we wear vinyl gloves and stuff, things stick to those more than they do a material. Except for certain bacterias, like the ones you get on cruise ships. That's why Nora went through people so quickly, because Nora loves clothing.
That's
but that's not as likely to get. E. coli also sticks on clothing and food.
Romaine lettuce.
Yes, apparently romaine. It really loves spinach and romaine and stuff like that. Yeah, but that doesn't stick on plastics as well. The excitement, the learning of the things.
Scintillating. All right. So I feel like the question to mask or not to mask is really yours and yours alone. Yeah. But have these conversations with your clients and allow them to think about it in a safe space, right? Give them time.
And have a policy. Just like anything else in our business, have a policy in place, whatever the policy is, and put it out there loud and proud.
Yeah, because it's ultimately, at the end of the day, about safety for you and for your clients. And if they want to make risky choices, cool, that's on them. But make sure that you are also just taking care of yourself.
Yes, we've learned so many things today. Thank you, Alex, for bringing your people pleasing to the table.
Thank you for teaching me about the word fungible.
Fungible.
I didn't know before, which is what an NFT is, right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Google that too. Okay. We're just learning. But yeah, if we can make the world a kinder, more safer place. And I think also of just thinking about somebody else for a millisecond, and I feel like that is, I know for myself, I'm trying to be in that mindset more often of okay, well, how would the other person feel in this situation and how can I set them up for success? So thanks for teaching. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, everybody just needs to be confident in what their beliefs are, stick to them, and know that you are being safe for yourself, your family. And if you lose somebody, it's okay. They weren't your client anyways.
Also, there's more people in the world.
There's so many more people.
You're going to have someone else.
Yeah. Somebody who aligns with you and it's going to be fine.
I promise you. Yes. So we want to hear from you what your masking choices will be, and what you're doing as guidelines change and things open up and the world is constantly evolving. So hit us up on social. The show is at Skinfessional. Sybil is at Your Skin Fitness Expert, and I'm at Holla from Holla.
And do tell us what you think about bananas.
Oh, yeah. I really do need to know that. Thank you for the reminder. That is for sure. Or you can leave us a voice message about all of the above. in our box, on our box, around our box,
in our box, which
Okay.
is a phone number because phones are still apparently used in our industry.
That's crazy.
The phone number is 818-473-5277. So until next week,
Keep your secrets to yourself.
unless you're telling us.
Okay, bye.
Okay, everyone, bye.